Hey slots enthusiast, every slots enthusiast is self-taught, including me. That's coming up. This video is first in a 6-part series for beginner slots players to help give them an understanding of what to expect so they need not start from scratch. If you've been playing slots for a while, you may find these videos pleasantly nostalgic. Enjoy. My first experience at slot machine gambling was in 2003 at a small tribal casino, the Kewadin Casino in Manistee in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I was taking a long drive back to graduate school in Iowa after visiting family in the Lower Peninsula and had found a hotel at which to spend the night. A casino was located just down the highway from that hotel. I wasn't aware of the casino being there until the hotel provided $20 worth of tokens to play at it. I remember feeling a little nervous about entering a casino for the first time in my life. I mean, what would my family of non-gamblers think? But I gathered up my courage and went on in. I found it to be a highly distracting place, loud, lots of flashing lights and smoke. This was a time when smoking was more fashionable than it is today, so there was a great deal of cigarette and cigar smoke in the air. This is still true today in some states, such as Nevada, although ventilation has gotten a whole lot better. I distinctly remember rapidly spending the $20 worth of tokens on slots, plus another $50 besides, which I could ill afford to lose. At the time, I was a poor graduate student on a research stipend working a side job as a temporary instructor of college physics. I just spent my food money for the trip home. Did I win anything that first time at a casino? No, I don't think so. Why don't I know if I had won or not? Frankly, how would I have known if I had? If I did, it wasn't enough to grab my attention. Maybe a few numbers changed on the player's console and the slot machine made an unusual sound. So, what of it? From my perspective, it was doing that every time I made a bet anyway. I left the casino after having spent $50 I could barely afford to lose. As I continued home on that long road trip, I started thinking about gambling with slot machines. Since then, I've more or less never really stopped doing so. After a few months of dwelling on that first experience, I happened to be visiting the Omaha Zoo just over the western border of Iowa in Nebraska. There I saw a casino on the river. Hint, it was a riverboat casino. With those months of thinking figuratively behind me, I'd concluded from my first visit that I needed a rule for how much I should allow myself to spend whenever or if ever, I entered another casino. The careful rule I came up with was this. Take a fixed amount into the casino, say $25, and spend only that plus whatever you make from it. With this simple rule and $25 in hand, I entered this second casino at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday and left almost 12 hours later at 1 a.m. Yes, that's right, 12 hours. Why? Because I'd carefully followed my rule. My error was that I hadn't been prepared for success. This has continued to plague me, by the way. The error which my simple rule didn't account for was this. Almost immediately after entering the second casino, I won $500 on a 25-cent slot machine. Doing so left me feeling quite emotional, which inclined me to try to stick firmly to the rule, which I proceeded to do. As the afternoon and evening passed into the early morning, I continued to win additional small non-taxable jackpots. Eventually, I spent my $25 along with what I'd won with it. And so this was my second experience at a casino. I'd gone from slots gambling for 10 minutes to a marathon 12-hour session. I did try to find a hotel that morning, and instead of driving home at such a late hour and coming as close as I've ever gotten to hitting a deer on the highway, but the nearby hotel wouldn't accept a credit card. Only cash. The hotel staff insinuated that people would provide a credit card to the hotel upon arrival, but afterward max out their credit limit at the casino. At checkout, they wouldn't be able to pay their hotel bill the next morning. That shocked me. My point here isn't about my not being able to get a hotel room, but that this was my first real clue that gambling was complicated. It consisted of more than just the act of making a bet by pushing a button. It exists in a unique environment where loud sounds, flashing lights, secondhand smoke, and even gambling abuses can occur. How fascinating. Now, maybe you want to know what happened next. In this video right here, I explain my initial slots gambling rules, resulting in my first epic fail at slots. How was I supposed to know what to do if I won? So if you want to see what not to do when you win big as a beginner slots player, click that video right here, and I'll see you in the next one.